All right, we are going to talk about what does physical hunger actually feel like? Now, I will say this feeling is going to be different for everybody. Okay, so what I share here with you is what I've observed in my own body, but until I've lived in yours, I couldn't tell you. What I have noticed with physical hunger is, first off, that hunger, the stomach growling, which I know most of us have probably experienced that, especially we've been on very restrictive diets. That stomach growling is usually for me the last hoorah of my body to get my attention. If it's been 3-4 hours since I ate, hunger starts to kind of come in gentle waves is about the best way I can put it. It's almost like somebody runs up to your door and goes, tap, 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 tap. And they leave for a little bit, because that was the really weird thing. I would say, oh, that's hunger. And I'd feel it, and then it would go away really quickly. And then maybe 20 minutes later, it would come back, tap, 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 tap. And what it is, it's like a hollow feeling in the upper, for me, it's a hollow feeling in the upper part of my stomach, like right below my ribs. And I can feel it, like there's just this emptiness forming. For me, I actually start to also notice some other symptoms or things that happen with hunger. I will start to feel a little, I don't want to say lightheaded, but I will start to feel a little tired, a little run down, a little bit more agitated than I would if I had just eaten. So it kind of starts to affect my mood a little bit. And it does start to affect like my clarity of thought, because my mind becomes very distracted with wanting to eat. So those are just a couple things I've noticed. So if I ignore it for too long, because I've practiced that now since I've been doing this experiment, I've let the hunger go to see what happens with it, right? So it's tap, 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 a little hollowness, maybe a little rumbly, and then it goes away. And I think, oh, okay, maybe that wasn't hunger. And then it comes back 20 minutes later, same exact thing. I'm like, okay. And then it crescendos, and this becomes closer and closer together. And then it crescendos, and then eventually we get to the stomach growling, like the rawr, 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 you know. Now, for some of you, it might be completely the opposite. Maybe the stomach growls right away. But I notice it's not this perpetual stomach growling right from the get-go. It's kind of like it gives me warning signals. Now, the thing that I wanted to share with this is emotional hunger. So with emotional hunger, the thing I noticed, and this really happened for me last November, I was going to be dealing with a really big boundary emotional issue, and it was causing me a lot of anxiety and stress. And so I, one day in particular, remember looking at the pantry, craving something out of the pantry, wanting something out of the pantry, literally walking to it, choosing to go sit back down, journal, and take my dog for a walk. It was almost like someone had turned a switch on inside of me, where one minute I was fine, I was sitting there doing my work. The next minute, all I could think about was the stuff in the pantry. And what it was is I was having some feelings of anxiety and stress about this get-together that I was going to be going to, where again, somebody that I had, had some issues with in the past was going to be there. So that was an immediate turn on, like an immediate switch on. So the difference between physical hunger and what I've noticed thus far, it's a very gradual, and it doesn't hurt. I used to kind of think it would hurt. It doesn't hurt. It's just like a very gentle, empty feeling with maybe a little bit of sound attached to it, maybe starting to feel a little light in the head, and then it just continues to cycle on and off until it finally gets to that place where it's like, feed me. And the reason I know it's physical hunger versus emotional, and this is my test, I say to myself, Heather, would you be willing to eat a piece of grilled chicken, steamed broccoli, and a sweet potato? And if I'm like, heck yeah, bring it on, that's physical hunger. If I had been sitting there at the table when I felt the anxiety and someone had offered me that, I would have said, oh, no, I really, really would rather have something like chocolatey or peanut buttery or sweet. And what that is that's the emotional head hunger. So that's how I differentiate between the two, because you kind of have to have a checkoff list for yourself. Like, how do I know this is physical hunger versus head hunger? One, if it's physical hunger, it's a slow build to get to the place where it's very annoying and very in your face. Emotional, literally, you could have been doing one thing, immediately chocolate comes to mind. You feel this crazy desire for chocolate, and you can't turn it off, right? And that probably means something in that day has triggered some kind of strong feeling for you, and that might be the coping mechanism of choice, right? And how do you know? Ask yourself the question. Okay, yeah, I'm really desiring chocolate right now, but if somebody offered me chicken, sweet potato, broccoli, or whatever a very bland, nutritiously dense meal would look like for you, would I say yes? Or would I be like, no, really want the chocolate? Then you immediately know, right? That's emotional hunger. It is not physical hunger. So by kind of paying attention to these, and if you're not in a place, based on my first video that I did where I talked about kind of having a healthy foundation of eating, dealing with your emotional issues, if you're not at that place, but you just want to become more self-aware, start kind of journaling this stuff, right? When do you start noticing this? When do you notice that craving for chocolate? What's going on? Like if you journaled all that and kept up with it, what you'll start to do is see patterns emerge, which will help you if you're going to therapy to deal with your emotions, your communication, your boundaries. You will start to get better coping skills, and it will also help you separate out physical hunger from emotional hunger, so you're better equipped whenever you are ready to maybe transition into not tracking calories and listening more to your body. So anyway, I hope this helps. A lot of good questions came in on this subject, so I wanted to put some videos together to better help. You guys let me know what else you want help with, and I'll do my best to get a video out for you. And then if you could like and subscribe to me on YouTube and spread the videos around, I would be greatly appreciative, because that is how we get these messages out to help people so they can not only get healthy but stay healthy. Remember, the goal here is to keep the weight off you lose. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.